Welcome to La Vida Rosa. I'm your host Pinky, and today we're going to be talking about Married at First Sight season 14 episode 2. So if you'd like to see more, then just stay tuned. But before we begin, I would like for everyone to check out my website lavidarosastyle.com, where you can find cute accessories like the ones I'm wearing right now. The link is down below. Like, comment, and subscribe. And without further ado, let's get into this video. So y'all, this is the second episode. We really only got 2 more weddings. They're going to stretch it out. We already know this. I'm not going to go on another rant about that. I'm just going to hop into Lindsay and Mark's wedding because that's kind of like where we pick up. I mean, really, what is there to say? She's just very loud and very crass and just says whatever's on her mind, even around his family. He seems to be okay with it. I think when Mark said he was lonely, he really means it. He's going through a lot. I can tell you, having a parent that is incapacitated, that is a very difficult thing to deal with, to see. And I do feel like he is, I hate to use the word desperate, but he might be desperate for a partner, and maybe he just wants to see the best out of this situation, or maybe he really is attracted to this woman. I really hope that even though she is a lot, that she's not just so reckless with his feelings, because I could see this being a complete train wreck, okay? I told y'all last episode, I really think she's doing this to be on TV. She seems to love the attention and the limelight. It's just like the consistent word vomit. You don't have to say every single thought that crosses your mind. I understand you want to get to know this man. He's a stranger. I get it. It's just really giving impulsive. Her communication is just very impulsive. Like when they were having this serious conversation, like they were getting on like touchy topics while taking pictures, you know, talking about his father dying, talking about, you know, his mother being a touchy subject, her mother being like, can we not get this deep while we supposed to be hi cheese? Can you know what I'm saying? Like, let's pace ourselves just a little bit, okay? Her main concern seems to be the 5 cats that are going to be running around the house, but his are older, so they're not going to be around for much longer. I was like, you really said that? Yeah, you guys, let me know what y'all think. She makes me so tired. Like, I watched this with my grandmother and we were just like so exhausted whenever she came on the screen. So I can only imagine how Mark feels actually being in this. But we'll see how their relationship goes. So I'm just going to go ahead and get the couples out of the way that didn't get married. Alyssa and Chris. Alyssa bought 10 of her own wedding dresses before going wedding shopping, because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the show will pay for your dress if you buy it from a certain shop, and they'll only spend however much money on the dress. So I kind of understand her having backups just in case of dresses that she likes that she bought with her own money, just in case she doesn't find one here. But 10 is quite excessive, and I'm a little bit concerned because that's kind of weird. And it also shows like just how picky she truly is. A lot of people were saying that she's giving Mirla, and yeah, I could definitely see that. I could definitely see her being very picky. And then when she said she would love to have a rustic country wedding and she plans to wear gold cowboy boots under her dress, in fact, she would love for the cowboy boots to show. It made me think, well, she should have been matched with Ryan from last season, because that seems like exactly what he was going for. So she's giving us a little bit of deja vu. Okay, I'm a little bit concerned about Chris because he seems like a very sweet and agreeable man. So I kind of feel bad for him. I feel like she's gonna pick all over him. I don't think she's gonna be satisfied based off of the previews. I don't want to prejudge, but it just doesn't seem like they're gonna mesh, because she's got these like impossible standards. This poor guy, I doubt he'll be able to satisfy her, but we'll see. You know, that's just my prediction. Let's move on to Noy and Steve. So I'm gonna go ahead and clarify from my last video. I said I didn't know whether he quit his job or whether, you know, he was fired. It turns out he lost his job due to C-19 layoffs, which, you know, I sympathize. You know, that does soften me up a tad, but when you go on a 4-month road trip and you haven't found a job within that time, and you sign up for a show to get married to someone, you're not gainfully employed. Now, I did see that he does freelance work, and maybe he makes enough money doing that. If he makes a decent amount of money off of that, then I take everything I said back. But if not, if that's just like, you know, a side gig, my point still stands. Like, you could be a dreamer all you want to, but we need a job to finance those dreams. You know what I'm saying? And definitely don't sign up for a show where you're supposed to be a partner to someone and you have no job. And the reason why I harped on it so much is because even his family was wondering how she was going to feel about the fact that he doesn't have a job. Like, does he plan on getting a job? Okay, let me get off of that. So he mentioned that his grandparents and his aunt and uncle had arranged marriages, so that's why he believes in this process. But I'm pretty sure that back in the day when they did arranged marriages, the families knew one another, and this was something that was like preordained, probably from birth. You know, it's not as random as, you know, strangers, people who don't know you. I mean, they know you based off of like interviewing you and things like that, but they don't really know you, setting you up with someone else. But then again, when your family is setting you up, they're setting you up for familial ties, not necessarily based off of personality, whether your personalities mesh with one another. You know what I'm saying? So there's pros and cons to both sides. So, you know, I guess that is interesting that he was more open to it because of his family. As far as Noi goes, before her wedding, her mother told her to not judge too harshly because no one is perfect. And you know what, that's actually really great advice to give someone, especially if they're like picky. But Noi doesn't seem like she's the picky type. I think the better advice for her in this situation is don't overlook the red flags. Because I just have a feeling she is going to be so attracted to him that she's going to overlook a lot. And girl, don't do that. Like, pay attention. Open your eyes. Pay attention. Don't fall in love. Because she's the type to fall in love and move to another country. So I know she'll easily look into them eyes and see that height. And just, ugh. Girl, pay attention when he says, I'm jobless. Okay? Pay attention when he says, I've been on a road trip for 4 months and lived in my car the entire time. Pay attention, okay? But anyway, she looked beautiful on her wedding day. I love the veil that she wore in addition to her dress. She looked so pretty. But she was very nervous before she walked out. We didn't get to see them actually see each other yet. We're going to see that the next episode. But I'm giving this entire situation and the experts the side eye for even choosing someone who is unemployed. Let me get off of them because I feel like I keep saying the same thing over and over at this point. Let's move on to Jasmin and Michael. Now, before I get started with this, I'm shipping these two, okay? I don't care. I told y'all in the beginning that I didn't think any of these people would be a good match. I changed my mind, okay? After seeing these two people before they saw each other, after they saw each other, I want this to work. I'm now invested. Me and my grandmother sat up there and shed tears watching this. Y'all, I need somebody to root for, okay? So before the wedding, his family presented him a pin. It was a breast cancer awareness ribbon, I believe, for him to wear on his wedding day. All of them were wearing it, and it was to represent their mother. Oh my goodness, I'm getting chills already just thinking about it. This is the part that made me cry, y'all, because his mother is not going to be there to see them get married. And it was such a touching, emotional moment. I mean, that man cried real tears. But I'm just so happy to see that he has such a strong support system with his family. And they just come together. And you could tell just how supportive they are of one another and him in this moment. And that was just so beautiful. Like, y'all, I was in tears within the first 9 minutes. They got me. And then when we got to Jasmina, she was freaking out beforehand. And let me say this. I saw a lot of people saying, oh, she sounds crazy, saying that she takes marriage seriously, but you sign up for a show like Married at First Sight. I get where y'all are coming from, especially after these past few seasons. It's been a joke. Let's just be real. It's been a joke. But I think when she said she took marriage seriously, I think she meant she's taking this process seriously. And I understand, if you really, really, really took marriage seriously, you probably wouldn't sign up for a show like this. But y'all have to understand, like, if everybody thought that way, we wouldn't have this show. You know what I'm saying? And I believe her. I believe her sincerity. Maybe I'm being gullible right now, but I believe her. Like, she seems sincere, and so does Michael. And I do think Michael has his stuff. He's experienced a lot of loss, and he does seem like he's a lot in his head. I mentioned this last review, but I just have hope. Like, I just feel like they're taking it seriously. I feel like we have examples of people in the past from these shows where both people in the couple took it seriously and it actually did work. Woody and Amani, Deanna and Greg. I think that's where she's coming from. So y'all leave my girl alone, okay? And then a lot of people were like, well, why is she freaking out so bad? You knew what you signed up for. She said it herself. She was calm throughout this entire thing, but when it got to right before, she got nervous. Y'all, people who have known their partner for years before they married them get nervous before the wedding and want to run or feel like they're doing the wrong thing. Like, that is a very normal emotion before your wedding. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially in a situation like this, that is normal. Like, I give her a little bit of slack on that. I kind of feel bad for her because she did look like she was completely in distress. Actually, she said on the after party that when she walked down the aisle and she heard his sisters say, "Oh, I love her dress," it really calmed her down and it helped her, be present in the moment. Obviously, when he saw her, he was like, wow. I'm like, boy, I know you did say wow. He said she was a whole black Barbie, and she definitely is. He's very much attracted to her. And then she said that when she saw him, like, oh, he's cute. She did say that they had a little spark, but I think she's like one of those people that is personality driven. I feel like if she wasn't attracted to him whatsoever, we would be able to see it. I don't feel like she would fake it. Like she said, there is a little spark, but I feel like she's one of those people that once she gets to know people, it grows. She's not just gonna be like, oh yeah, I'm in love when she first meets someone. She has to get to know them first. So I'm very much the same way. When he grabbed her face to kiss her, I was like, okay, he went for it. And then afterwards, they jumped the broom, which is, a nice tradition. And once they, had that conversation one-on-one, their conversation flowed. They were talking about how she, watches TV and loves Marvel and he doesn't really watch any of that. And I'm like, I bet you by the end of this experiment, he will have seen at least majority of Marvel films or be watching Korean dramas. Watch. They just had really good chemistry. Like, whenever they were taking pictures, their hand was getting a little low. And she was like, oh, their hand getting low, but she wasn't moving it. And, when they were dancing with each other, I've seen so many awkward weddings that this one on a scale of 1 to 10 was on like a 7 or 8. You know what I'm saying? Whereas we've seen 2s and 3s where people could not even talk or interact whatsoever. She said there was a small spark. I don't really think that's a bad thing at all, because it gives it room to grow. And a lot of times when you start off with a whole lot of passion, it fizzles out quick. So I'm looking forward to seeing their journey. Okay, so now we have Christina and Olajuwon. His family just does not seem to think that he's ready at all. I know we had Woody in the past, who his family and friends, like, they did the same thing. They was like, he is not ready. And it turns out that he was. Like, him and Amani have like this beautiful relationship and he's a great husband to her. But I don't know. It's just, I don't believe it, y'all. He hasn't quite convinced me at all. His family is constantly telling him that he needs to change. Like, they don't see the difference in him. That's hard, because how can you see a change in a person unless they've like dated someone else to kind of show the change? It's not just the cheating in his past, it's his ideals when it comes to women. And I think like his family said, his expectations are way too high and they're kind of unrealistic. Like, you want a traditional woman that's going to cook and clean and do, I'm sure, like, stay barefoot and pregnant and, you know, cater to you and your needs. But then you want her to also be someone that will hit up the strip club. Like, you asking for a lot. You asking for a lot. You really are. He just gives selfish vibes. He just seems like he's just very selfish and he wants everything to go his way. There was a moment where he broke down into tears and he did look sincere. It almost looked like he was a little kid. Like, the way he was crying, it was just very, it looked sincere. But a part of me, it feels like he was scared that his past actions were going to come to haunt him in some way. I don't know. Like, maybe that's just my assumption. But when he said, well, what if I around with one of her friends and she done heard about me? When he said that, I'm like, you must have really got around, sir. You must have a really bad reputation out there for you to be concerned about something like that. But maybe the tears didn't have anything to do with that. Like I said, even people that know the person they're married get nervous and have these emotions before getting married. So I do believe that, but I don't know. It was a little concerning. Being why his brother was clowning him on the side. Why was his brother clowning him like that? I was like, why is he's literally having a moment crying his eyes out and his brother is over there clowning him about it. I was like, that was not right. Yeah, like I said, he really believes that marriage will change him. But have you done the work? Have you done the work, though? Have you done the work? Because putting a ring on your finger and having a wife, that doesn't change who you are as a person. Only you can decide to change your mindset. You know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, Katina is with her bridesmaids. I think her friend had the right idea. She said her bridesmaid called her and basically told her the risk of marrying a stranger. And I wonder, did she bring up that they have like, what is that, like a 20% success rate? Probably less than that at this point. Her mother gave her great advice once again about not getting hung up on imperfections. This is a common piece of advice, you know, your parents will give, and it's good advice, but I'm just like, in this case, just like I told Noy, do not overlook the red flags, because I know, because he's so attractive and he has the tattoos and everything she likes, and he's saying all the right things right now. Don't overlook the red flags, okay? Please do not do that. So when she's walking down the aisle, when I tell you her hair was on point, the dress was beautiful, the makeup was flawless, the bouquet, I love the bouquet. Like, she was a vision. She was gorgeous. And I don't think he was exaggerating at all when he was like, wow, and kept telling her how beautiful he was and how happy he was that they matched him up with her, because she really was gorgeous. Like, seriously, one of the best looks out of all of them I've seen. You know, obviously they saw each other. She said on the after party that she was like very much attracted to him because he's tall, handsome, got tattoos, everything she likes in a man physically. And then when he saw her, obviously he couldn't stop saying how beautiful she was. And then he asked her, what about me? It's like, shut up. I can't stand people that, well, how do I look? I can't stand when men do that. Let me tell you. Or maybe she's too nervous to say that right now. Maybe she don't want to say it in front of everybody. Maybe she wants to say it in an intimate setting. Like, what? Like, you can't wait. It's like almost like a vain thing to do, just to like immediately, well, how do you feel about me? Like, stop being so thirsty for that. Like, calm down. Like, when his family was saying words about him and talking about how he wanted someone that could cook, her entire side of her family just erupted with laughter. I would have felt so much betrayal. Even though I'm not the best cook myself, like, I'm learning right now. I'm trying to learn. Even though I'm not the best cook, I probably would have felt a way that my whole family just bust out laughing. Like, really? At least he was like, well, we can work on it together. Even though we know his true feelings. Hopefully Olajuwon actually does want to learn with her, maybe they can cook together. That would be nice. Maybe y'all will learn together. There will be days where she cooks. There will be days where you cook. What's wrong with that? The ceremony was really nice, and they actually look really good together. And if I didn't know any better, like if I didn't know anything about Olajuwon whatsoever, I would say that they looked amazing together. They're like very picturesque. I mean, both of them are very attractive people. They had a beautiful ceremony. So yes, like as far as looks goes, I could have rooted for them if I didn't know the backstory, but because I do, it's not like, oh no, this gonna work. I kind of feel like they gave her the short end of the stick, because this just seems like the same type of guys that she was trying to get away from. Anyway, she was so nervous afterwards when they were having their first little conversation. She just was holding her bouquet the whole time. Like, why don't somebody come get this giant bouquet out of this woman's hands? I know she's tired of holding it. At that point, he asked for another kiss, which was kind of awkward but kind of cute at the same time. You know, if he asking for another kiss, then obviously he's very attracted. But is it just a physical thing, or can you go deeper? Because this is marriage. And then he was just doing all this talking and talking and talking and talking. Like, I get where he was going. Like, we're married. When you're not my girlfriend, you can call me out. You can do this. You do. It didn't mean anything. It was just like going in one ear and out the other. But apparently she was just happy that he was talkative, because she was so nervous that, you know, she was happy that he took over the conversation. So she enjoyed that part of it. You guys, I don't know about these two. I just, you know, I want to give him the benefit of the doubt, but just based off of, you know, what I've seen in the past, I just can't be that naive. Let me know what y'all think about this episode down below. Do you agree with me? Do you not agree with me? I would love to hear your opinion. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in my next one. Peace.